Welcome, everyone. Listen, what day is it? It is Wednesday? How did we get here? Wednesday is like, didn't we just start the week? But you know what? I'm gonna just leave that alone because I feel like this week is just racing by. Like, where am I? I'm in the arena and I'm standing on the chariot and I've got the horse. The horse is the weak, and I'm like, whoa, slow down. It's just like really going fast. But I digress. Detachment. Somebody was asking about that. They said in their post, help me to detach. Help me to not care. And I'm like, you're not getting it. You're supposed to care because that's what makes us act. Caring. You cannot act if you don't care. See, and this is what I mean when I say sometimes we have such fancy words. We really just have fancy words, when in actuality, the word we're looking for is to know. Hmm? Now, I'm going to flip over the screens just so I can read what it says here. Detachment, the state of being objective or aloof. He felt a sense of detachment from what was going on. You're aloof, you're above it somehow. Now, this is what detachment means from the military: a group of troops, aircraft, or ships sent away on a separate mission. Right? A party of people similarly separated from a larger group. The action or process of detaching, separation, you know? So all of those definitions have one thing in common. Something is separate from. He was aloof. He felt himself apart. He was above. He was separate from what was going on. The military, something was sent away. It's separate. It's not part of, it's separate. Um, it's like I'm scrolling to um what we gather though is that detach has to do with separating oneself. You see, the problem is one cannot separate themselves from what they are. It's the word. Um, Let me put it in this way. When we talk about detachment, people are usually speaking about quote unquote manifestation and their desire. They want to separate themselves from the desire so that they're not overwhelmed. They don't feel like they can't accomplish it. Or if they're holding on too tight, they're choking it and then they don't get it. But perhaps let us detach ourselves from that method of thinking. Let us separate ourselves from that way of thinking. And attach ourselves where? Look at this perspective. When you know that your success is inevitable, you no longer have to put a chokehold on things, do you? Because you're not looking at things as a sense of loss. I'm going to say it again. When you look at things from a place of knowing, you no longer are looking at it from a place of loss. Well, what if I don't get it? But all I can do is think about it and I'm so desperate, I'm so this, blah, blah, blah. But if you know the principles, if you know the principles, then you don't have to have a chokehold on anything because you're not lacking anything. You're not looking at the world through the lens of lack. You're looking at the world through the lens of, oh my, I create. I make things happen. Hmm? Well, that's a funny word, make, or do we allow? You set the stage, and the rest unfolds. I'll have you know, Scotch bonnet, I made some oxtail overnight. It's still in the oven, slow cooking. Yeah, I'm not cooking it. I just put it in the oven and the oven does the rest. The oven heats up and slowly takes it from raw to cooked, and here we are. I get up and I say, well, I cooked that food, did I? Or did I give it the necessary environment to allow it to cook? Hmm. You know, this is what we do. You just get the right parameters. It snowed all night long. All night long. All night. You know what? It did. It snowed all night. Sure did. I didn't make it snow. The conditions were right, thereby allowing snow to happen. So when you know that you just get your mood in the right place, well, you're making the conditions right. Cause and effect. You're just making the conditions favorable to allow something to unfold. So to detach one's self, you see, we try and force detachment. Truly, we try and force ourselves to detach. We force ourselves to let go of our desires. No, that's the fastest way to frustrate yourself, is to let go of it. Because naturally, you don't want to let go of that which you desire. So you don't force yourself to let go of it. What are the conditions that are favorable to the desire? Because if you know the inevitability of cause and effect, what do you have to worry about? Nothing. You don't have to lack anything. Psalm 23 says, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Punctuation is everything. The Lord is my shepherd. Well, I shall not want. He leadeth me, right? When you hear, well, I shall not want, it means you're not lacking a single thing. And when you come at the world, when we walk through these streets of life, knowing that you just get the conditions. And what are the conditions? The mood. I will tell it to you until, well, either you test it for yourself or you walk away and never come back. But either way, that's up to you. You'll still have to come back to it anyhow. So you might as well stick around and implement it in your life and live a much more beautiful life. When you look at the world through the lens of not wanting anything, it doesn't mean that you don't have desires. It means you don't chase, you call. And how does one call? Favorable conditions that allow things to happen. Where did I read this quote? Where this man was like, oh my God, your garden is so beautiful. And the guy goes, oh, because he says, well, your garden is so beautiful. What do you do? How do you make it that way? He goes, I don't make it that way. I just let it do what it's going to do. I just plant the seed. That's it. You plant the seed. Plant the seed. What's the seed? Your mood. Yeah, Angela, but the way my life is set up, it's like, I don't know, girl. All this talk is really cool, but that doesn't apply to me. My problems are like so like vast. That's what I mean. We look at the world and we say, ugh, but my problems are vast. That's like the children of Israel when They were told to go scout Canaan to see what was going on. You see, we think it's a story, but it is not. They came back and they said, but hey, we're like grasshoppers in their sight, man. We're like grasshoppers. What did he say? He said, we are like grasshoppers. Oh, well, as a man thinketh, therefore he is. We look out into the world and we see how small we are. Hmm? Well, when you're small, people usually have to look out not to step on you, right? Because you're small. But if you look out into the world and you say, wait a minute, I can command the tempest. I can say, be still and have it be done. How is that possible? How is it possible that you can take charge? Uh, all things are possible to them that believe. All things, not some things, all. But if you are going to say that all things are possible, do you believe that? That's the, man, that is the linchpin. Do you believe? You see, that word believe, we tend to think that that word is, oh my God, I gotta be real strong. No, you have to know. The same surety that you have that when you plant something out in the backyard, it grows. You just, you're just sure. Like when I went and got those pumpkin seeds from the man at the store. You know that Caribbean pumpkin, yeah? Best pumpkin in the world, but I digress. He gave me the seeds and he goes, man, I don't think those things are gonna grow here. And I thought to myself, you must not know the nature of a seed. You must not know the nature of seeds. You plant them and they grow. I got one of those little planters, those seed planters that has little pellets in it that you water. I watered them and they puff up, right? And I just put the seed in it. I planted 12 seeds and 5 of them are already growing. And I'm like, ooh, I got to transplant these things. It grows when you plant it. You just have to, what are the most favorable conditions in which to plant it? And then you plant it. This is this is what we do. We can't look at seeds and go, "Oh, it might not grow here." But that's what we do. We look at things and we go, "Oh, I can't prosper there." What? So you see, we go about this whole thing of detachment in such a funny way. Perhaps a change of perspective is required. One does not let go of their desires. And that is contrary to everything we've heard, I'm sure. Because even the Buddhists tell you, oh, you have desire, you'll get misery. Yeah. Yeah? Why? Because you're looking at the world through the lens of, oh, that's too big for me to accomplish. So I may as well just smush that desire. What's the point? If we don't get desires, we don't grow. You can't detach from it. It is part of growing. You can't separate yourself from your desire. Your desire and you are one. Your desire and you are one. Well, it's not coming from George, it's coming from you. So you're one with it. This is why when scripture says, I and my Father are one, that's what it's talking about. It's not talking about Jesus is trying to be blasphemous. It has nothing to do with a person. It's telling you that you and what you desire are one and the same. This is why we become. You become the thing you desire. Well, I become a car. I become a house. I become a relationship. Yes. How so? Because all those things are just words, but it is the actions that imply those words. So you have a car. Well, now look, you got some freedom. You got some independence, don't you? Because you can get in and go where you want to go at will, so long as you put gas in it. Don't come for me because I say anything about gas. Talk about electric. Stop it. This is what you're doing on a daily basis. You become. The desire molds and shapes you. Oh, indeed. But you see, us, this false sense of humility. Oh, I shouldn't want good things. That's church 101. It's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom. Oh, is that so? That's why he locking you in your church and telling you you better get this money. Because you see what I'm saying? You see what we do? Do you see what we do for false humility? Look at that word, to humiliate. Again, these words and what they imply. What does the word imply? See? So when we talk about detachment, we're out here in these streets. Listen, if the placenta detaches from the uterine wall, that's a bad state because the baby may not survive because it cannot be separated at that time. It needs the nutrients of its mother. So it cannot detach from the uterine wall. It cannot separate. They are one at this time. So if you pay attention, we will begin to recognize that word. Funny thing that. So how does one detach then? You don't. You and your desire are one. What we learn is the perspective. If we look at the world through the lens of want and lack and desperation and not having enough, not being good enough, that's where frustration comes in. Resentment, anger, all those things come in from there. But if we look at the world through the lens of, wait a minute, if I experience in imagination what I would be doing in reality if I were the man or the woman I wanted to be, well, then I know. Then I know it is just a matter of the cycle and I will be reaping shortly. That's it. You see, the perception of time, because of where we are, you don't detach from the garden you've planted. You get out there and you make sure that it's not being overrun by something. So you can't detach from it. You must be involved in it. This is why we have to be involved in our lives. What do you want to accomplish? You know, every time I hear a lottery commercial, they say, dream big. You think you're only supposed to dream big when you play the lottery? I remember the commercial because I hear it all the time. Because, Alexa's always playing in the office. And so that's one of the commercials that's always playing. What would you do if you won the $70 million? She goes, I'd open up a bistro in France. And I was like, oh my God. But if I ask you now, what is it that you want to accomplish with your life? Well, maybe I shouldn't reach that far. Maybe I should just, go within my means. Hmm. See what we do to ourselves? Your desire is not an enemy. It is something, if you put it into perspective, it will nourish you as you fulfill it. Or, in other words, it'll nourish you as it comes about, as it unfolds. But you've got to get the right condition. What is the condition? The mood. But don't we always try and set a mood? Pay attention and you'll see. Do we not try to set a mood? In the workplace, we call it morale. That's a mood, honey. Oh, is it a toxic environment? That is a mood. Do we not try to set moods all day? Do you know how many songs? If I say Barry White, you know the mood. If I say Luther Vandross, you know the mood. If I say Crazy Sexy Cool, you know the mood. If I say Red Light Special, you know the mood. I say Chateaubriand, you know the mood. We are always setting a mood because that is our nature. So if you set the right mood, I shouldn't say right mood, set the mood is a cause. So set the mood according to the effect you want to experience. It's as simple as that. But we try and run away from life. We try to separate ourselves from life. How can you? You cannot. You are living. Can't separate yourself from life if you are living. But, I don't make the rules. So today, how does one change their mindset, their mental attitude, their mood? I don't have to tell you how to do it because you do it naturally. Anytime you're feeling wah, wah, yeah. Anytime you're feeling like that, what do you naturally do? You look for something that will make you say, ah, do you not? Naturally. But we try so hard to force and suppress and only end up frustrating ourselves. And then when you watch somebody who you deem quote unquote successful, how they get there? They must know somebody. Ooh, nepotism. Crazy. I don't want to feel like I'm ranting this morning, but that word just ruffles my feathers, for lack of a better phrase. Yes, it ruffles my feathers. Because we don't truly grasp the meaning of it and how to apply it in our lives. Right? We don't. You don't run away from. You don't separate yourself from. You immerse yourself. Immerse yourself in the knowing. That's what we do. And the one thing I know is the principles. I don't know anything else, just that. And when you know the principles, you live in a different way. You really do. Because now when you look out into the world, you will understand what it means to be in it, but not of it. You're in it because, well, we're here. But you're not of it because you don't have the same mindset. And you're not changing your mindset because it's the cool thing to do. You're changing your mindset because the mindset is the cause. And you change your mindset based upon the effect that you want to experience. This is oh, this is how sometimes so many of us are quote unquote led astray. You're going to let a whole man lock you in the church and tell you you can't leave until we all raise this amount of money. Say what now? Force? Well, you can't be reading the same Bible. You can't possibly know, quote unquote, who God is. They have detached themselves from God altogether. Well, how can I be so sure? Well, you'll know us by our fruit. I'm not sitting here telling you I'm perfect. Hell no. Ah, perfect? Me? Shoot, you catch me on the right moment, I'll cuss you out. But I have to check myself. As within, so without. Angela, you really want to do this? Really? You really want to bear the repercussions of that? No. Too high a cost. Let's move on. No, no. Really? You want to? No, I don't. I don't need to throw my dog in this fight. No. See, you've got to catch yourself at every moment, not in a judgmental fashion, but by answering the question, is that the effect I want? Well, sometimes, we make time for certain effects, yes? But today, apply the principles. You must know what and who you are. When the world looks at me or the world looks at you, they see your hair texture, they see the how big or small your nose is or your lips, how big your butt is. That's what they see on the outside. But that's just the outward appearance. And when we judge by outward appearances, you blind the eye. Look at the heart. Begin to comprehend or understand people. I cannot detach myself from you because you're Chinese or because you're whatever you are. Because if I detach myself from you, it now makes it easier for me to destroy you. Oh, because I feel nothing. You see what the problem is with detachment when you separate yourself and say, well, I'm aloof, I am above this? No. Humanity is humanity. And the moment we detach ourselves from humanity, we have a problem. This is why, if you can drop a bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, you separated yourself from humanity. How else could you destroy it? Because you've separated yourself from it. You think that you're not part of it. But you are part of it. Oh, but they don't look like me. Uh, and? How did you get here, Angela? So today, my beautiful friends, I shan't keep you, but I want you to grasp what I'm saying to you. Immerse yourself in the beauty of what humanity is. Wait, Angela, did you read the news? Yes, I read the news. Yes, I heard Alexa playing it. I heard it. But remember perspective. If we keep looking at it as a violent place, now, as within, so without. The turmoil you see in the outer world is because individually, as a collective, we are at turmoil within ourselves. I talked to my daddy yesterday. He's so cute. He really is. He says, So much stress in the world. People got to learn to relax. So angry all the time. And he really did make me contemplate my existence, you know? Because if you look out into the world, if we give in and surrender to all of the reasons why we should be angry, why we should be desperate, we've just planted a seed. Hmm? You've got to plant your own seeds in your own bosom. You do. Look out there. I'm sure you can see what I'm seeing and hear what I'm hearing, wars and rumors of war and pestilence and all this and blah blah blah. But that is because we've separated ourselves from one another. Because a house divided against itself cannot stand. What is required then? Unity within oneself. As individuals, we are so fractured sometimes in our thinking. We don't think as a whole, we think as a piece. You're the whole thing. You're the whole of humanity. All stemming from that word of detachment. It might not make any sense to you today, what I've said. Shoot, I might have stepped on some bunions today. Ow. But put it in perspective. Perspective. Put it in perspective. How are you looking at things? Dr. Wayne Dyer says, change the way you look at things and the things you're looking at will change. Well, that's such a fancy way to say it, isn't it? As within, so without. So whatever that lens is on the inside, whatever that mood is, perhaps if we use the word mood, we would understand perspective, because whatever mood you look through, whatever mood you embody, is how you're going to act and how you're going to behave. It's a simple act of observation. So what mood are you occupying this morning? Remember, the principle of rhythm, ebb and flow, we're not always going to be happy. We're not always going to be sad. We're not always going to be whatever, because we move. The principle of vibration tells us everything is moving. Nothing stands still. So you cannot stay happy all day long, because you'd be still in the happiness. And we cannot stay still, because nobody can break the law. You could try. Good luck with that, though. We are always moving. Oh, but Angela, I can sit still. Yeah, is your heart still? Oh, it's still moving, though, isn't it? You know, we are always moving, which means the mood is always changing. Are you aware that your mood is always changing? Hmm. Perhaps start there. Become aware of yourself and your surroundings and the way you feel. Just observe yourself. That's it. It's as simple as that. Just observe the self. What am I doing right now? I'm sitting in the lotus position on my bed. I sure am. My eyes are closed at the moment because, bright lights. But begin to take stock. You do not just let a feeling overrun you. You observe that feeling because it is telling you something. Do not detach yourself from your feelings. Oh my God. No. What is it saying to you? Yeah, that's what you do with those feelings. What is it saying? And then go from there. It's telling you always about yourself. So you don't detach yourself from feelings because you are one with your feelings. What, you think feelings exist outside of you? Somebody's got to feel the feeling. They are effects. Not causes, they are effects. So you see, my beautiful friends, perhaps start to see yourself not as separate from, but one with. You see, because if we had that attitude sometimes, I'm telling you this from experience. If we had that attitude of one with, we wouldn't say we're working for the man. We would recognize that we're working with the man. Those are two separate things. For and with. Working for, well, you're separate. Working with, you're one. So comprehend detachment. Comprehend it. Understand it then. We don't separate ourselves from our desire. Become one with the desire because it is you. It came out of you based upon your mood. That's how the desire emerges. You can't be in the mood of hunger and not want to eat. Hello? Anyway, who's here with us today in these streets, these social media streets? YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, who do we have? Is that PU or PIU? The Creative Corner, hello. Ah, you're from India. Hello. Ow, our resident etymologist. Mozinga's in the house. Ray of Sunshine, hey girl. You'll get Alexa to play the news. Ray of Sunshine, you are so sweet. It's good to see you, dearest. I miss seeing you at night, like in that room. But your girl is working at night, so can't separate myself in two places at once. Twitter is as Twitter is. Who's on Fanbase today? Surreal is here. Yamila is here. Oh, Scotch Bonnet, Miss McQueen is here. KZ, hello, Jared. Honey, I see you all. But let me not prattle on. I've been hollering for like 38 minutes. And my boy is still asleep downstairs. I did go downstairs to check on the food. I took the rice out of the oven. Yeah, I cooked the rice in the oven. Hello. All it needed was a constant heat and the right amount of water and spices. And it did what it needed to do. Okay. Easy peasy. But my boy is still sleeping, so you might not get chicken with that chime today. But, he has a way of surprising me. My itty bitty. And you know something I realized about this new little chick? I swear she's a ventriloquist. I am holding her in the palm of my hand because, she's so small, right? The little chick. But she sounds like she's coming from way across the room. And I'm like, how do you do this? How does the sound do that? like she's a ventriloquist. And I'm like, but you're right in my hand. And she sounds like she's across the room. And I'm like, wow, like these sounds, these little chirping sounds that she makes, they are so cute. But she always messes with my ear though, because I'm like, where are you? All right. But don't get it twisted. Her mother knows exactly where she is. And listen, you don't think that chickens talk, right? They don't have words. Oh no. Lady don't have words. Lady has sounds and pitch and intonation. And when she's calling Popcorn, because that's the little chick's name, when she's calling Popcorn, she makes these noises or they're clicking sounds. And I watch her. She doesn't eat first. At first is what I thought she was doing. No, she pecks it out of the dish and she breaks it into pieces and she drops it to show Popcorn what to do. It is the most fascinating thing to behold, actually, to observe communication on a non-human level. And then, we got Lil Bit in the corner. He's got to make his noises too. He's just watching what's happening. And he's got quite a beautiful temperament, especially with that little tiny chick. He really does. But the chick and mother are one right now. Where the mother goes, that baby is shadowing. She watches her mother drink. And as I was sitting there, just because they're in the tent and I'm just laying on my belly in the tent watching them, and all I can hear in the back of my mind is, mother's the first teacher. And I was like, but the principle of correspondence is as above, so below. So if my earthly mother is my first teacher, who's the other mother? Nature is. And nature teaches. Oh, yes, indeed. She teaches you what to do and how to do it. Nature is showing you, you plant corn, you'll get corn. So is your attitude corn or is your attitude peas? Well, whatever attitude you presently have, those are the types of experiences you are going to encounter. At every turn, the mother is teaching you. And you see, Mother Nature is not necessarily, how our mothers are, they're soft and you like to be held, she's not that kind of mother. It is what implies she's a mother. The teaching, the nurturing, the guidance is what implies mother. The care is what implies mother. Because if you look at mothers, not all, because I know some people who will tell me, not my mother, she didn't do that. We're not here to argue that. But look at the grand picture. We have a mother. Right? And she teaches us what to do on a daily basis. That's how come if you observe your mother, you will know what to do. I learned that from watching Popcorn and Lady. Like for real. She will watch her. This is how she learned, because at the very beginning, I was trying to give her water because, you're worried about the little chicklet, because most people hatch chickens in an incubator. If they have a farm, they use an incubator more often than not. But with her, she had her mother. She had those wings to nestle beneath. Remember, they're 105 degrees. That's their core temperature. So when that little chicklet, they tell you have to have a light. And I'm like, I don't have a light. No, but the mother warms the chick. And I'm just observing what these two are doing. She's watching her mother drink the water. And here I was freaking out. Oh my God, it's been 2 days and she hasn't drank anything. Is she gonna be okay? Nah, she just watched her mother. And then she dipped her beak in there and she tilted her head back just like she saw her mother do. And now, Popcorn is a pro because she watched and she applied. But us humans, we don't want to apply. We want somebody to do it for us. You apply what you learn, and your life will prosper, people. And my little popcorn, popcorn taught me that. Oh, and popcorn is so soft and fuzzy. Oh my God. Popcorn is officially 1 week old today. Mm. She hatched on Wednesday last week. And here she is, 7 days, and has already taught me so much. So you see, my beautiful friends, you can't detach yourself from the chickens. And yes, I love them. They're a lot of work. I ain't gonna lie to you. They're a lot of work, but they're a great pleasure to observe and just be part of. You learn a lot about yourself when you observe and apply from the great teacher, Mother Nature. Anyway, look, I'm done. Let me go get this chime, okay? Let me get the chime because I want to keep us because I got to get on the road early because I don't want to white knuckle it all the way to work because it snowed, right? And I don't know what kind of condition the main roads are in. So, man, I just love you guys. I really do. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Fanbase, and Twitter. You know I will see you tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace out. And remember, you're not separate from, you are one with. Yes? Well, much love to each and every one of you. Peace.